Hey guys, so this week we're going to be creating these cool mason jar lanterns. Please remember to like and subscribe. Here's lantern 1. So for the first project, we are going to be using a mason jar, a bag of rubber bands, and a spray can. You're going to be getting your rubber bands and wrapping them around the mason jar. You're just going to do any pattern that you like. So if you want to have a lot of rubber bands on the mason jar, then go for it. Just move them around so that you could see the different lines when you spray paint it. What I'm showing here is that I use thick and thin rubber bands, so they're different sizes. This is the pattern I came up with. So the next step is going to be to spray paint your can. So you're going to have to make sure to take the top off of the mason jar and then just spray the mason jar. Now that you've spray painted your mason jar, you're going to make sure that it's completely dry and begin to take the rubber bands off. If you have any lines that you want to clean up, you're going to use a Q-tip and acetone and just gently rub, and it should take the paint off. So we've completed the first lantern, and you could see all the cool patterns that the rubber bands created. So all we need to do now is light it up. Lantern number 2. For this project, you are going to need the Mod Podge, a mason jar, some leaves of your choice, a brush, and a plate or any type of thing that you have to put the Mod Podge. We are going to begin by pouring some Mod Podge onto the plate. Now we're going to grab our mason jar and start brushing some of the Mod Podge onto the surface of the mason jar. Once you have a good amount of Mod Podge onto the mason jar, you're just slightly going to stick the leaf onto the mason jar. And keep in mind the Mod Podge is sort of like glue, so the leaf won't have any difficulty sticking onto the jar. Just to make sure that the leaf is completely stuck onto the mason jar, you're gonna get a little bit of the Mod Podge and brush it on lightly. And you're gonna just keep repeating until your jar is fully covered with the leaves. Once you're satisfied with the leaves that you want to put on the mason jar, you just let it dry and sit for at least 15 minutes, but it might take longer just depending on where you put it to dry. Now that your mason jar has dried completely, For decorative purposes, we are gonna just put tie some ribbons onto the top of the mason jar. What I did was just twist the ribbons. And then I tied it onto the mason jar. I did 2 knots so that it wasn't too loose. And you're done with your second lantern.